We are excited. We're excited to chat with Katie and Nidhi. I feel like every time I get to share a stage with Katie and Nidhi, I feel like Katie and Nidhi just give us strength, you know? I think that's just one of the important components of their leadership capacities, that they just give
I was
strength.
told I'm getting to talk to Eddie and Cassie. And we're so excited about it. How many of you excited about it? Woo!
So we are Eddie and Cassie Kutnick, and we are optometrists in Chicago, Illinois, optometry by background. I did a specialization in ocular surface disease and dry eye, and Cassie did hers in pediatrics. We've got 3 little girls at home in Chicago, and we love them to death. Having an absolute blast. I will tell you guys that I'm gonna say something that's a little bit taboo to say from this stage. I like my job. I like my job, I like my profession, but I never kidded myself that my profession was going to provide the lifestyle that I wanted long term. Never fooled myself there. But I will tell you that my career does itch, it does scratch all my nerdy little itches. So I want to give you permission to enjoy your career. You should excel in your career, but I will say that you cannot let your career be your identity. Your career is not synonymous with your identity. It's not who you are. And when Cassie and I decided that we were going to make a change, make a shift to learn how to think like a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, we said that our profession, as much as we appreciated it, it was not who we are. It is not your identity. Some people, I feel like you ask them, what do you tell me about yourself? And they're like, I am engineer. It's like I am Groot. It always reminds me of I am Groot. I am engineer. So tell me about what you do. I am engineer. So you are multifaceted, and you have the ability to pursue other passions in your life. Make this one of them. And so in the pursuit of that, Katie and Nidhi, you just got to learn how to think about the long term.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that, Eddie. You guys should grab a seat. How about that? We're going to be talking for 3 hours? No. All right. Anyhow, we are Katie and Nidhi. We are so excited to be sharing with you guys for the next couple of few minutes. And we just want to kick off by saying this. By background, I'm an electronics engineer, work in corporate and as a business advisor for healthcare. And Nidhi, you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Yes, by background, I have a couple of master's degrees in computer science and project management. And from last year, I have an opportunity to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I am totally loving it.
And to come back to that, Eddie, I want to be fully transparent. I don't think so. We started with this big vision for ourselves when we launched. In fact, I remember my roommate asking me this, like, you work 13, 14 hours a day. How would you find time? And I'm like, I'm in my 20s. And this is for all of you. In your 20s, if you sleep at 10 p.m., something is wrong with you. How many of you sleep like 2 or 3 in the morning? And you're not doing productive stuff at 2 in the morning. Mostly it's the Dorito dust. You're like, oh my God. And I'm like, man, I'm doing weird stuff late in the night. I definitely have time. So I didn't have this big vision, a long-term thinking. We said, we have time, we'll just get started with something. But it's amazing, as we stayed put, we started understanding the game. And I think that's where most people miss it. They just don't understand the game. They are playing checkers on a chessboard. Just because the board looks same, it's not the same game. It's a different game altogether. So when we started realizing this is not just about making more money, this is about building another source of income, we said we'll give it the due time. In fact, for me, it took me 15, 16, 17 years of education, right from kindergarten to getting my degree to land my first job. And that was the first source of income. And from there, I said, okay, if I want to add another source of income, I got to at least put in the due time. It's going to take me 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, whatever years I choose, it's going to take me some time. So we said, we'll go for the long haul. And it's amazing, Eddie, when we had that mindset of a long haul, our focus shifted. It's like 100-meter dash, you win it with intensity. But this is a marathon. You win this with consistency.
Right, and it's like planting seeds today for the forests of tomorrow. And it requires a different mindset, because we are so conditioned in our corporate world sometimes to get that instant gratification, right? Every couple of weeks, we get a salary, so we put in some work, we get the result, we're putting some work, we get the results. Over here, the rules are different. This is a different game. So we had to understand and develop that long-term mindset that we may not see that instant result right away, because this is a different type of income we are generating. Probably instant results for me is, what am I becoming? what am I overcoming? Okay, what does my growth looks like? And long-term results could be the rewards and the awards that we talk about. So it is that shift in the mindset that we had to understand in order to completely grasp the potential of this opportunity.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about your journey. As you guys were coming along, did you have to make some decisions? Did you have to pick new mindset?
Well, if it's a long-term game and a lot of these results that you're working toward you don't see right away, other people don't see it too.
Yeah.
And that was hard for us because we came into this environment pretty young. And I think a lot of young people, we just really crave approval. I think as young people, we just really, we crave approval. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the decisions that Cassie and I had made up until this point in our lives we got a lot of approval. When we said that we wanted to go to University of Wisconsin, it was a lot of applause, When we said that we wanted to be eye doctors, it was like a lot of applause, right? When we said that we wanted to, subspecialized, a lot of applause. But when we said that we wanted to pursue entrepreneurship and build a side business and get some mentors, there was not a lot of applause. There's a lot of quiet dinners. Where mom was like, "Oh, sweetie, I'm just worried about you. Just worried about your future." And my dad was like, "Ed, what are you doing? You're going to be an eye doctor. What do you got to worry about this stuff for?" So we had to just get really serious about who we were pursuing and whose approval was important to us.
Yeah, I just think, as we grow up and we all have small children, like our children look to us for validation that they're doing the right thing, that they're gonna learn to walk by holding on to the side of the couch. They look to us for that approval, and we get so used to this validation, and why we make decisions is for validation from others that we're doing the right thing. But I think at some point as an adult, you have to trust yourself and that you're making the right decision for your family because you know. And if you're in this room, you're an adult. You know what's the right decision to make. And I guess I challenge you is when you're making decisions, are you making them for validation from people around you that don't really live the life you want? Are you doing certain things and making decisions because they align with your goals and your values? And for us, that's the biggest pivot we had to make, was every decision that went through our mind was, is this getting us one step closer to our goals? Does this align with our values? It doesn't matter what social media says we should do or how we should live or how we should dress or how we should look. It doesn't matter what our parents or our peers or fellow doctors we worked with, what they were doing. What matters was what was right for our household and our family. And once we started getting more of that clarity, it built more confidence in ourselves and our decision making. It built more confidence in us being able to stand the long-term game and handle negativity or maybe some of those questioning looks, because we knew at the end of the day where we were headed and the people we were following.
So it was the dream that drove us sometimes, and sometimes it wasn't. So tell us a little bit about that, you guys.
No,
Right, and if I can just add, when a 2-year-old is looking for validation, it's cute. When a 22-year-old is looking for validation, then that's a question.
Wow, that's right. And for us, we had to shift our mindset a little bit because coming from that heavy E quadrant, we were fear motivated. In fact, we were conditioned for so many years, going to college and school, we were given assignments, we were graded, there was a deadline, so we had fear as a motivation. As an employee, we all perform because somewhere if we don't do what we need to do, we're going to pay the price, there's going to be consequences. But building a B quadrant, it requires dream as a motivation. So we had to start aligning ourselves by casting a vision for ourselves. And it was not easy as an engineer. I heard statements like, "Men without vision will perish. Man makes a dream, then the dream makes a man." I'm like, I will not perish, I'll survive. And then I started thinking, yeah, I'll survive. But that doesn't mean I'm going to live a life of significance. And those were the moments we said, we'll do the cute stuff that gets started from the stage because there was fruit, there was results. And we said, we'll start casting a vision. How do we want to live? The things that are important to us, the life we want to live, the travel we want to do, the charities we want to run, whatever we want to do, we started casting a vision. And Eddie, more we saw our performance, we realized if I didn't have that energy to perform, chances are I just didn't have goals that created that pull for me. Because when there is no hope in the future, there's no power in the present.
That's right. It's very true, though. Being a human, we are always doing the dress rehearsals for tragedy. I think we should be doing the dress rehearsals for accomplishments and for success, right? If I'm anyways going to manifest and if I'm anyways going to fantasize, why not success? Why not about bright future? Because I think fear and hope, they're both emotions. And if I let one of the emotion be a driving factor of my life and or the decision making, it's gonna get, it's gonna make my life a little bit more simpler. While fear is going to have a lot of anxiety and a lot of chaos, hope is gonna make a lot of things quite simple. So we just moved in the direction of hope. What about you guys?
Yeah, well, and I think you're talking about fear, and something for me I really had to overcome was that fear of failure. And I don't know if anyone else relates in there, but one of my biggest concerns coming into this community and entering entrepreneurship as someone that came from a biology major background, that's when we met this community. I was a 20-year-old college kid at UW-Madison studying biology. I had no idea. I didn't know what e-commerce, I didn't know ROI. I mean, all these things. I was sitting here in conference rooms like this, and I didn't understand half the words the speakers were saying, not because I couldn't understand the accent, because I quite literally did not know the words that they were speaking. And I had a tremendous fear of failure. And can I be honest, if you have that fear, it's valid. Because every other area of your life, if you're like me, if I failed in a course, that means I wasn't going to be able to move on to further graduate school. I worked in a profession where if I failed, you could sue me. So I had been programmed to be afraid of failure. But here's the thing, in entrepreneurship, you have to push through failure in order to create success. And it totally challenged every fiber of my being. And I think with that, it created fear within me to actually commit to do the work. A lot of things we're talking about. And I think, a lot of times we say, like, I don't want to commit to something unless I can give it 100%. I want to give you permission. Commitment and giving something 100% are not the same thing. You can commit to something and give it your best that next day. For me, at some point, I had to sit down and realize I was afraid of failing, but I knew I had to do it anyways. And instead, I just committed to doing 1% better every day. I said, I can't be perfect. I've never been able to give this business my 100%. I don't know. I've just had other things going on in life. I don't know about the rest of you guys. You're just sitting around and nothing else going on. No kids, no school, no job, nothing. You could just focus 100% of the time. Probably not, right? So for myself, I had to give myself that permission.
There's two things that every time that someone says that my blood clots. Two things. One of them is, I'm one of those kind of guys that I don't halfway things. If I do things, I do them 100%. The second that I hear a guy start to say, I'm one of those guys, I'm like, don't you say it. Here it comes, don't you say it.
I heard it the other day, and I was like, oh,
no,
you didn't.
Stepped into the wrong trap. That is just the worst mentality. That's like anything in your life that's important, you will not be able to do it 100%. You will figure out a way to make it work. Your fitness journey, it's not like, if you can't do if I can't do fitness 100%, I'm not gonna do fitness. Make the best of what you can because it's your health. It's important. Same thing with this environment. The other thing that absolutely makes my blood clot when people say it is, well, this is one of those things where you get out of it what you put into it. You ever hear that one? You get out of it what you put into it. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Anytime that I've ever invested into my business, I viewed it as an investment. The basis of any investment is that you get more out of it than you put into it. Can I hear you? So if I'm putting time into this, I want to get out a lot more of it than I put into it. I don't want to get out of it what I put into it. I want to get more. But people forget that you must first put in before you can get out.
That's right. That's right. And it's amazing you talk about giving 100%. I firmly believe God automated breathing because some of the folks would die because they just didn't give 100% to breathing. They'd be like, this guy's dead. Why? Oh, he
wanted to breathe 100%.
Just didn't breathe 100%.
Didn't breathe.
So anyhow, as we are, getting towards the closure, I do want to talk a little bit about resistance because that's what was first time I encountered in my life. As an entrepreneur, I was making my own decisions and I started encountering some resistance. My enterprise was not moving at the pace I wanted to move. Do you want to kick that off?
Yeah, see, in the journey of entrepreneurship, resistance is going to happen. It is bound to happen. We are trying to take our life off. We are trying to take our career, our finances. They are all taking off. So resistance will happen, okay? Sometimes your family may challenge you. Sometimes your spouse may question you. They may doubt you. And if everyone around you is very cheerful, then you will doubt yourself. Something or another will happen because we are trying to create something different. Sometimes you are doing some of the process appointments and it will not go the way it is supposed to go, and you feel bad. You feel like a pregnant ant, and you question the existence of universe. Sometimes you would go for a conversation and you would freeze, and someone will ask you, "So what do you do?" And you will completely forget your story, and that's completely okay. all right? It happened to all of us. Just embrace it. Right now you may see Eddie and Cassie pouring the words of wisdom, and you may see Katie walking on water, and you can see all of that. But ask them.
No, that's a lie.
Ask them when they started. The kind of mess ups they have done, the kind of growth curve they had to take in order to look so presentable and in order to make things work. So embrace the journey, embrace that resistance. Don't run away from it, because that struggle is the catalyst of growth.
And if I may add to that, in fact, how many of you go to team evaluation, right? My first evaluation, the speaker said, "Sir, what's your name?" And I stood up and my mind sat down. And I forgot my name. It's as horrible it can get. And I said, "My name is John." And the whole room laughed, because coming from India, you don't have names as John and Jim and Tim. But anyhow, that's where I started from. And here's what I had to do, Eddie. I had to start assigning purpose to my pain. And this is really good for me, because it was really good for me then, and I hope you guys take this back home with you. When your family pushes back and your friends question you, they're not trying to put you down. They're not trying for you to quit the organization or give up on your enterprise. They're just preparing you for the world that's out there. Your mom and dad have a role to play in your life at every step of the way. So when you launch an enterprise, they are preparing you for the brutal world that's outside. And I had to get comfortable with someone questioning me. And I remember doing a lot of dry runs. Dry runs is, you get ready and you fire up your computer or your laptop and you're like, "I'm going to do a meet and greet." And then you wait for that ribbon to show up. Joe so-and-so joins your room. And that never pops up. And there you're sitting with a tie on or a jacket on, and you're like, "Man, I'm going to do a great meet and greet," and the person never shows up. That's resistance. Sometimes the person on the other side, they're obnoxious. They behave like a jerk. They ask you all kind of weird questions. Why? Because they're sitting on the other side of the screen. And I remember walking off for one of those meet and greets and asking myself, "Man, that was brutal." I almost had blood coming out, because I felt the guy took too many jabs at me. And I had to sit there and ask myself a question. Am I going to do this for the rest of my life? And I'm so glad my response back was a feeble yes. And here's what I remember telling myself. If I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, I'm going to get really good at it. So we had to do a lot of those dry runs, but those dry runs have absolutely paid us. I come from a place where my mom and dad had to scrape money to pay for my tuition. She had to sell her jewelry to pay for my tuition. And it's amazing. At an 80-year-old, I take her out for shopping now. She never says no. It's amazing. Those wrinkles on her face when she has is just remarkable to watch. I'll do all the dry runs one more time just for that smile.
Love it. Appreciate that. Couple last things and we'll wrap it up. You guys all have a lot going on in your life. And I just want to let you know and give everybody full permission on what I had to realize as a type A control freak, to be pretty frank, is that I couldn't do it all. I couldn't do it all in everything in life. And I want to give you full permission to know that what you need to do, what needs your mind. And whatever is outside your capacity is absolutely okay to ask for help. It is okay to pay for help if it's within your budget. We pay for someone to clean our 2-bedroom condo. I pay for people to come over and watch our kids sometimes, because I need to know what needs my physical time. Second thing, in a lot of things in life, like the corporate world, when you give it all you got, it's not worth it. Your B game's not much different than your A game, the results you get. In this business, it's dramatically different. If you give your B game, you will get B game results in this business. If you give your A game, you will get results that you couldn't even imagine. We never hated our job. And here's the reality. Sometimes your priorities change. We didn't hate our jobs, but guess what? At some point, I no longer wanted to work it. Thank God we are around people like you guys so that we actually created the choice. He works part-time. With that, I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys.
This is a copyrighted program of The Collective, powered by Markerman Productions, affiliated with Markernet Incorporated. Duplication of this program is strictly prohibited. While the techniques and approach